To begin, let's review what simultaneous evaluations really mean. So I have a pattern of holes here, and I have a cutout in this part. And if I were to only specify datum A, so if I look at datum A, it's this top plane, the only constraint on the evaluation is this one datum. And the question is whether this check and that check should be evaluated as a unit. If I were to move this surface as a pattern like this, this actually emulates what would happen during the evaluation process. What we would do is we'd slide the measured features to match the nominal based upon the datum assignment. So we are free to move except for constraint by datum A. Now that is a situation where you evaluate the pattern alone. Alternatively, if you were to do both at the same time, that would be a very different evaluation because both features, all 5 of those elements, would have to be evaluated together as a unit, and that could dramatically change the results depending on whether or not this cutout, for example, was drilled in the right spot. So that's the difference between individual versus simultaneous evaluations. In this version, what we've done is try to finish finalizing the ability to control exactly what you want and how you want to have it. So if you go to the GD&T tab, what we've done is add a number of things here. First of all, which is kind of nice, is you have a direct link to the user options. So rather than having to go dig, you can just go directly to it. And in here is an option to force simultaneous evaluations. By default, this is off. Our evaluation is none. That's partly because you need to choose which standard you want to validate against. If you want to do ASME, you want to do ISO. And these two standards actually have a different default for whether or not you're simultaneously evaluating checks or not. And what we do now is allow you to choose and allow you to turn this option on and off. If it's on, then all you have to do is click on one of the checks and you'll see it evaluate as a simultaneous evaluation. And you'll see that this check and that check was evaluated together. And what just so happened was that this one and that one failed because I did deliberately move the data that corresponds to this one piece. If I were then to go and turn this off and clear the checks, and again, the clear the checks option is right here, which is kind of convenient. You can evaluate again. Let me evaluate all my checks here, and you'll see that they pass because these are independently evaluated. And that's the key point here. So if we go back to looking at this options, if I clear the results, not only can you turn on the forced simultaneous evaluation to be a unit, you can also now choose whether you want to evaluate some features together and some independently. So this is a new addition in this version. You can check this and it allows you to say, I want to evaluate these particular checks together. I don't remember which ones are which, and I'll hit OK. And when I do that, what will happen is it will evaluate the ones it can. And you see these are checked, and you get this little lock symbol. And this lock symbol is only shown when the force simultaneous is off, because this is clearly indicating what you've done. You've done that deliberately. And then let's take a quick look at this additional one down here that was not evaluated. And if you look, it has separate requirement. We now look for that text in the text below annotation, and that is used to trigger and independently separate this check from the others. And that can be done even with the simultaneous enabled. So this option, if you force in simultaneous, it'll still allow you to mark independent checks as being singularly evaluated. So that really gives you full evaluation power. You have the ability to do anything you need. You can set up a job in any way you want. And the other really fun little trick here is if you simultaneously evaluate checks, they're now saved as an event. And this event also has a really cool little re-execute option in it, which allows you to re-evaluate those particular checks again to update the results without having to reselect. So that goes along with selecting individual checks. So those are the additions in this version, really rounds out the ability to do simultaneous evaluations.